Paisanos, it's the
Excuse me, princess.
Super Show!
Hi, I'm Aaron,
I'm John.
and this is the Excuse Me Princess Super Show, where we do what, John?
We watch, review, and riff on the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and the Legend of Zelda cartoon
In what order?
air date order, so that otherwise it's not the whack DVD order and we don't have to watch the Zelda cartoon all at once and spoil it.
And trust me, after this last... Sorry, I have...
Yes, you do.
Welcome to the death of Aaron. Will Aaron survive this episode? Find out next time on the Excuse Me Super Show, Excuse Me Princess Super Show podcast. Goodbye, Aaron. Death of the...
Yeah, death of a co-host. Can Vegeta possibly be alive? Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Farewell, Vegeta. Death of the Saiyan Prince.
Oh, we're off to a great start.
Yeah. So the episodes we're looking at today are the live-action segments Plumbers of the Year and the cartoon The Adventures of Sherlock Mario, which both aired on October 3rd, 1989.
We're still in October, and we will be for the next year?
Yeah, or so. It took us how long to get through... it took us almost literally 20 episodes to get through September, 5, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah.
So episode 40 will either be right around Halloween or just after.
Yeah. I feel like episode 40 we might have a special guest.
We'll see. We got a while to worry about that. So, lead us off when talking about Plumbers of the Year and its guest star.
Okay, quick question. What was our predictions?
Okay, good question. Plumbers of the Year. I predicted they'd be competing against each other for Plumber of the Year. And yours was much more elaborate and therefore harder to remember.
It was Foreman Spike.
Oh,
Foreman
yeah.
Spike was going to be Plumber of the Year.
Mario, you almost hit my car. Anytime Foreman Spike comes up, I'm going to say that.
Oh, good. I'll make sure to randomly just say it now.
Excellent.
But both of us were wrong.
Big surprise, I know.
This one here, it starts off with the brothers doing plumbing.
In the void that's off to the left.
You sure it's not to the right like the diagram shows?
Almost certainly. It's the far, far left of the stage is the pipe void, which seems to be the building's plumbing.
Yes.
The building.
So they're fixing a massive leak in their apartment, and they fix it, and it's the best work they have ever done. And as they're coming down from the ladder, someone knocks on the door, rings the doorbell, calls the pizza phone, calls the pizza oven.
Does. And it is
The Grand Puga.
of their Plumbers Union,
Yeah.
basically. Well, it's like the Loyal Order of Water Buffaloes level spoofing of the... What is it they call that on Homestar Runner? The official Loyal Order of Silly Hats?
Yes.
Where they're all wearing the dumb helmets and stuff? Yeah. Ever and more, ever and more, ever and more.
So they are astonished to see him. They get on their knees. They do a couple sayings. He says they can rise. All rise for the Honorable Prime Minister.
He keeps glancing to the left for some reason.
And he informs them that he's there to see whether or not they are going to be Plumbers of the Year. Because they've been nominated, or they've already been awarded it. They just need to go through the formality of proving it.
Yeah, they gotta pass one final test.
So we cut to the cartoon, which is much better than the last one we watched.
Yeah, it was much better than getting kicked in the face with a spiked shoe.
Oh.
By a man in a diaper.
A lizard man in a diaper.
Yeah.
We call him Trump. Off to...
So,
we come back from the cartoon, which was better. And, the Grand Puga is giving them the reward. It's like everything seems up to snuff. Everything's good. It seems like you run a tight ship. And the pipes start steaming. They all burst. Multiple leaks.
yeah, and I mean, it's fair enough. They couldn't actually start running water through all of them, so they use, steam as a fill-in kind of for all the leaks, and it works pretty well.
Yeah.
That way you can do it more than once. Not that they ever rehearsed anything.
No.
And yeah, he thinks it's gonna, lose them their chance, but they solve the problem by sending Luigi to grab the leftover pizza from the fridge because it was extra cheese.
Yeah. And they just fill the holes with cheese.
Yeah, which is basically wrapping this yellow rubber circle, which, fair enough, looked like kind of middle-of-the-road pizza cheese, just around the valve itself.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed to do the trick.
So, the Grand Puga end up going, it's like, you know what? This is the most ingenious way I've ever seen someone fix a leak. You've definitely earned Plumber of the Year, and not question any, how long it's gonna last, what quality it is. Is this going to be a health hazard when it turns to black mold? Is this going to be another pizza phone in 3 to 6 business months?
That's like when your house has 2 cordless phones and one is always missing.
Yeah.
And you hear it ringing from the other room, but then you go into the other room and you never find it.
It was under the couch cushion, but not the couch cushion you thought. The couch cushion in the original room that you were in, but because of the way that it echoed and vibrated, it made it seem like it was in a completely different room.
Yeah. But not the same costume party.
Oh.
Also, halfway through, they use... they once again, instead of distracting the guest star with clips from the next Legend of Zelda, the stuff is going on and one of them just turns to us and Mario says, the only thing that can calm me down is these clips from the Legend of Zelda.
And I still have no idea what Legend of Zelda this is going to be. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the one where Link finally gets the princess.
Yeah. In episode 5 of 13.
Yeah.
And totally doesn't happen between shows. But anyway, just as everything seems to be in order, the steam starts up again. But instead of stripping them of their award, the Grand Puga runs to the pizza phone and starts ordering some pizzas with cheese. Cheese. Cheese.
Yes, as cheesy as this show is, it needs to be more of that.
Yeah.
And you know what? We also forgot that the award for getting Plumber of the Year is a knife set.
Yeah, at first I thought they were being awarded a golden plunger, but that was just the scepter for the Grand Puga.
Yeah.
And he handed it to Mario to hold while he unrolled his scroll. And yeah, it's a knife set and chopsticks. You've seen him on TV. Please allow 6 to 8 weeks for delivery, which I now realize is what you were referencing.
Yeah.
With the pizza phone, as you so often do. And yeah, do we want to review it before or after you talk about the guest star?
Before.
Okay. I thought it was pretty good.
You know what? I enjoyed it. It was good. It was funny. It had its charm. It showed the Marios doing plumbing or steam fitting, depending on your definition.
Yeah.
Might be boiler making, depending on if that was a boiler room.
Yeah, it showed that, at the very least, they do have that understanding of the mechanics of it.
Even if it's wrong, and they do a bad job, and hygiene is always in question, and neatness never counts.
Yeah, I was going to say it if you didn't. Where's Mama Mario when you need her?
Not Brooklyn bound anymore.
No. I wonder if she ever did win the lottery.
Probably not.
No.
Very few people do.
No, I think Marianne and Luigina might have if one of them managed to nail down Lyle. Of course, I don't think he lasted much longer than the show did.
Oh, right.
If I remember correctly. One too many footballs to the head for Lyle.
Oh.
But anyway.
Or steroids, depending on who you believe. Doctors or Lyle.
Yeah. Well, doctors are called. Lyle appears. But anyway, no, it was good. It was especially compared to the last one, which was just the three people standing there talking to each other. This had some gags. It had action, not action, but movement.
It had movement, and I would say action.
Yeah.
And it had, movement is a good phrase for it, but energy. Energy is what was missing from the last one, because even though on the last one Pam gave it her all for crying, after that it was very flat.
I'd say movement is a good word for the last one. But no, I do agree with you. Yeah, there was, we don't expect a lot, but some of them have been way more imaginative. And, fair enough, they're cranking them out and running out of steam. Sometimes all they have is Pam Madison talking to them.
Yeah.
But then in between, you'll get ones like this, which have something.
I'd say top of middle third.
I think that's fair enough. If the guest star was a slightly better line reader, it might have cracked the top third.
Yeah, but for me, just about there.
Yeah.
And it might get pushed there if we get more of the last episodes.
That's true. Yeah, the rising tide floats all boats, or whatever.
Not the ones at the bottom of the sea, though.
No, but I mean, they're not floating anyway. Just ask James Cameron.
Do you know the difference between a boat and a ship?
No.
A ship can hold a boat as many times as it can, as you want, but a boat can only hold a ship once. It's based on size.
Oh, okay. So anyway, the guest star.
The guest star, Marty Allen.
Now, I did not recognize this guy, so I'm hoping you can pull one out of your pocket that'll make me say, oh!
Considering this was the last TV role or film role he did, I highly, highly doubt that.
Well, we'll see. You might surprise me. You know some of that old garbage I used to watch?
Yeah. So, to start with, instead of giving the birth and death and the things I usually add in,
You took that one personally. It was just a joke.
So, he was born in the 1920s. Not important at the time. But during World War II, he was in the U.S. Army Air Corps.
Uh-huh.
He was stationed in Italy, obtained the rank of sergeant, and he earned a soldier's medal for stopping a fire in a plane that was being refueled.
Oh, good.
So.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now tell me about the B movies he was in.
Well, he's more of a comedian and has been active as a comedian and active with his volunteer work for most of his life. So it started during the early 1950s with his comedy partner Mitch DeWood, where he was opening acts for Sarah Vogue and Nat King Cole.
Oh, okay.
So, in the 1960s, he appeared on Broadway in Let It Ride and Eugene O'Neill Theater. And in the 60s, he also had a charity act where he went to military hospitals. It was called Hello There, based off of his famous catchphrase. It went from 1968 to 1972, where he entertained wounded and soldiers who just returned from Vietnam.
Okay.
As for the different films, he was in the Last of the Secret Agents, The Great Waltz,
The name rings a bell, but I'm sure I haven't seen it.
Allen and Rossi Meet Dracula and Frankenstein. He was himself in that one.
Oh, good. He was Alan.
Yeah. Harrod Summer.
Nope.
A Whale of a Tale.
Are you making some of these up?
I wish I was. Cannonball Run 2.
Oh, I only saw the first one. I love the first one.
And for television, The Big Valley, Monster Squad, Wonderbug.
Wonderbug?
Yes.
That I'm not familiar with.
The Croft Super Show. Murder Can Hurt You. Madame's Place. Benson. And his final role, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. You might have recognized him from that.
I might have. Yeah, sometimes I'll see these guys and I'm like, I know him from somewhere. This guy, I didn't know him from nowhere.
So he was still active in the 2000s, pretty much right up until his last years of life, where he was performing in Vegas with his second wife, Karen Kate Blackwell, performing in Gold Coast Hotel and Casino, South Point Casino, and Palace Station.
Well, it's good to know the guy, was always working.
Yeah. And he was on one episode of podcast WTF with Mark Maron. No idea what that is, but
No.
It's in 2015. It already had 574 episodes, so well established. A much better podcast than us, probably.
Yeah, I've heard a different podcast reference the WTF podcast, but I don't know anything about it other than the name. Well, good.
So, for the most part, he is very accomplished. Passed away not that long ago, but at the age of, what was it? I want to say 95.
Dang.
So
That's the long haul.
yeah, age of 95. Complications from pneumonia. He passed away at his home in Las Vegas. So, surrounded by his wife.
Okay. I'm just going to leave that one alone.
With his wife by his side.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
It's not a laughing matter.
No.
But he had
It's also almost midnight.
he had a good life, and it seems like he had a happy life.
Excellent. All right. Do you want to get into the cartoon?
The cartoon that we are going to get hooked on the brothers.
That's the one. And
Yeah.
if you're hooked on the brothers, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And give us 5 stars on your podcatcher of choice.
Just not Google Podcast.
No, RIP Google Podcasts. One less thing for me to copy and paste into the episode posts. I think we might have had one viewer through that, and I think it was Ed.
Hey Ed, I'm sorry that we have lost you as a viewer.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Now, by the
Ed.
time he catches up to the show and hears this... Oh, wait, he can't. Uh-oh.
Oh,
We've
no.
locked him out.
I blame Elon Musk. I'm not going to tell you how.
Or for what?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get hooked on the brothers.
Now, evil Koopa and his troopers are up to misbehaving. They kidnapped the princess Mushroom Land needs saving. Abusing and confusing everybody discovers they can't help but be hooked on the brothers.
Welcome to Victoria, BC.
I prefer Victoria AD. So, the cartoon, The Adventures of Sherlock Mario.
We open up to a dreary English town.
Drury?
Yeah.
Yeah, they say, they don't say the Victorian Kingdom or anything like that. They just say they're in Victoria, but it's Victorian London.
I'm pretty sure it's Victoria, BC.
Yeah, but the background paintings, which I love in this episode, they're so fucked up and warped. The perspective is all over the place. Things like Big Ben and the Tower of London, they go upwards, and then halfway through, they crank 40 degrees to the left and continue the rest of the way. It's like a weird perspective shot, but they ended up using it as a flat background instead. Yeah. And every background that isn't, inside the sewer we'll get to later is like that. It's a very distinct episode.
Yes. And the Mario brothers are looking for who?
They're just following the trail of... No, that was the last episode. I said that because they had the magnifying glass in the episode and they're following the trail. They're in Victoria and they're in a hansom cab being pulled by the "No oats, no work, sorry fatso" horse from Great Gladiator gig. But it's they're gonna meet up with Sherlock Solmes, because you can't say Sherlock Holmes because he wasn't public domain and the estate is very touchy about that stuff. And he's going to, say it with me now, help the princess save her people. Somehow. They never say how when they do this stuff.
Adopting orphans, maybe?
Yeah. If every single one of these characters adopted 2 mushroom orphans, the orphanage would be empty, and maybe they could keep some of that money. Toad gambles it away in Mad Max land.
Luigi has $1 billion debt to Koopa.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Koopa banged the gavel on that one. So, anyway... But they get to where they were supposed to meet Solmes. They hear a scream. And, they describe it as like, an area of cloaks and daggers and something. And you actually hear a lady scream, like a stock lady scream sound effect. Like the Mushroom Kingdom equivalent of Jack the Ripper is doing his business around the corner.
Yeah.
So that's grim. But everybody likes sliced mushrooms on their pizza.
Hey, not me. I believe all fungus deserve to live off of pizza. Not in pizza.
Yeah. We're supposed to eat pizza, not be pizza. Cut all of this. It's terrible. Anyway, so they find Solmes's deerstalker cap and magnifying glass. But not the rest of them.
And Princess Toadstool immediately recognizes it as Holmes, even though it could be anyone's. I mean, I carry a hat and magnifying glass with me everywhere I go.
Yeah, but everywhere you go...
needs to be inspected under a fine-toothed comb for Holmes.
I'm glad you had an end to that sentence. It's funny. This one didn't anger us... But the problem is it also didn't fire us up the way the last one did. But anyway, so they deduce pretty quickly that, obviously... No, what they do is they head straight to Solmes's place at 221B Bonkers Street, which is funny.
That was 220B Bonkers.
It could have been. The point is it's Bonkers instead of Baker Street. But in between, we cut to the sewers, where you have Sherlock Solmes tied to a chair. I don't think he's based off of any particular Holmes. Maybe a bit of Rathbone with the nose, but he's still got his big pipe, but no hat, of course, which is good. A lesser show would have forgotten that he didn't have his hat anymore. And Count... Now, there's a bit of a mispronunciation thing going on here, but it's a mix of Koopa and Moriarty. So you'd think it'd be Koopiarty or Koopari. So yeah, I'm not so sure. Yeah. The Count.
Yeah.
He's already been Count Coopula. And actually, I keep saying Count, but it's Professor anyway. So, Professor, and Solm says Koopiarty?
Yeah, Koopiarty, something like that.
Yeah, which is not quite, but the closest anyone's going to get. And, spoiler alert, Solms is the only one who addresses him as such. I think Koopa himself says it about himself once, but none of the other characters are committing to the bit on this one. Mario picks up the hat and dubs himself Sherlock Mario and drops a few elementary my dear blanks. But when he comes face to face with Koopa, it's the usual, lizard lips and Koopa calamity, and just they're not calling him Professor. They know he didn't go to school for that.
Yeah.
But Solms has already figured out what Koopa's caper that he's planning on is, and that's to steal some kind of giant
Router router. To reroute the sewer into the streets of London.
Yeah.
Victoria.
Legally distinct from London, just like Sherlock Holmes is legally distinct from anyone else you might be thinking of who may have played Doctor Strange. And,
David Duchovny.
Well, he does have red shoes. But they, so the Mario crew are at Solms's place, and Mario's crawling around looking for clues, and everyone comes out from under this chair groaning.
I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure you mean the Mario entourage. Yeah, everyone comes out groaning. Mario, Luigi, Toad, and then finally the princess.
Yeah, which didn't bother us as much.
Don't give up. A good detective always uses his head. Ouch!
But no, they bump into a dictation machine which plays Solms's last recording.
Dictation.
Yeah. In which he had already guessed that Koopa would be stealing the royal router from under the Tower of London, I mean Victoria.
Yeah.
And hopefully he doesn't open that door with the 10th, 11th, and War Doctors until they're out. Although it should have been locked.
It should have been.
And, they hit that, and they go to head Koopa off, and the ambush goes off really well. Because it's Koopa, Tri-Clyde, a single Koopa Troopa, and Mouser. Koopa's wearing top hat and tails, like a very traditional Moriarty.
Yes.
And everyone else are dressed as the Baker Street Irregulars. They've all got those street urchin turtlenecks and pageboy caps.
It looks like they should have eyeshadow painted on and
Little bit.
Clockwork Orange bull shenanigans.
Maybe. That might push the rating up a little. But
It could use it.
It could. And Mouser does have his mustache. His still indeterminate accent. Whatever it is. But it turns out the statues of armor waiting at the ground floor of the tower are actually the Mario crew in disguise. And it's actually not a bad, bit of ambush. For once, they're on top of it, at least for a while. And there's a half-decent fight scene where they go after the bad guys. But the bad guys run just off screen to the left. The camera shimmies 2 feet. And suddenly they
have weapons.
They have weapons, which I
and
think...
actual weapons, not...
Yeah, because...
Not the issue with what the Mario Brothers and crew brought.
Which is plungers.
But swords and maces and things that can do damage. And do damage to the plungers.
Yeah. They managed to... Mario and Koopa have something of a duel with... Koopa has an axe and Mario has his plumber, so he's able to block the wooden axe handle. Unfortunately, Luigi's plunger is cut in half by Mouser with an actual sword.
Yeah.
Was it Mouser or was it the Koopa Troopa?
I thought it was Moser, but I could be wrong.
And then, was it Triclide who had the flail?
Yes.
And what did the princess have?
Plunger?
Did all four of them pull up plungers?
I think so.
Okay. How come that armor Princess Toadstool wasn't in Princess Peach Showtime?
That's a good question. We should really do a playthrough on Twitch of Princess Peach Showtime.
Yeah, what the hell? I got 20 minutes. Apparently it's good, but a bit light and a bit short. And I don't think it has the super secret extra hard levels that you get at the end, like a lot of current Nintendo games do. But, sorry, just repositioning myself here. The fight doesn't go well, and eventually they are all disarmed, and they're tied to...
Oh, there's a giant magnet, which works only because they're wearing
the armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, fair enough. That's cartoon logic. I'm not gonna... It works a hell of a lot more consistently than the giant magnet and stars in their eyes did, where they were hoisted by the plumbing paraphernalia in their pants.
And Toad especially liked his wrench being pulled.
Oh, man. And then he just elongated himself. But the... So they're tied up, and they got a swinging axe coming over them. And Koopa, being a proper villain, decides to leave because he doesn't want to watch someone get cut in half. He's got work to do.
Yeah.
He's going to flood London with... And he always says sewer water, not sewage.
Yeah.
Which is a distinction.
Yes.
Fair enough. Storm drain water. But Mario is thinking, if only I could reach the meatball sandwich I have in my pocket. And, Luigi's like, leave it to you to think about food. But he takes it out. He manages to get his arm free.
We mentioned the pendulum.
Yeah, the swinging axe.
Yeah.
He managed to get the sandwich free, eats it.
Gets slightly fatter and breaks the ropes.
Yeah, and then when he unties everyone else, he literally just grabs handfuls of rope and rips them open.
Yeah.
Now, the pasta power count did go up, and I think it was just because one of them said, we're going to need pasta power.
I think so.
So it wasn't like a moment. There wasn't the rhyme, but the pasta power went up.
To 13 now.
To 13 as of episode 21. 2. And yeah, so they get out, but they're on the back foot now. They head to where Koopa has Solms tied up, which is in the sewer, where they just finished hooking up the...
We forgot one thing about the pendulum.
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, I think the idea is because they're no longer on the plank they were tied to, it went up further than it would have been, or something. But the pendulum axe gets stuck in the wood they were on in a position where it would have cut Mario in half and then stopped.
Mario in half and maybe taken off Luigi's arm.
Maybe.
It would have been tragic, and it would have been the great start to a dark tale of Luigi with one arm swearing a vengeance against Koopa and going through and hunting him down where Koopa has nothing to do but run. Because every step of the way, Luigi's one step ahead, filled with vengeance in his eyes. And the only thing that will save Koopa in the end is finding out that Mario actually was adopted.
But then Luigi will decide that Koopa's blood is thicker than water.
Yes.
Luigi is the last Ronin.
We should really shoot this show, this spin-off.
But no, so the crew bust on into Koopa's hideout in the sewer. And
as the sewer water starts...
as the sewer water starts to flood Victoria, which is really just blue water filling up the bottom of the screen with all of the background stills, even though it doesn't show the water like on the street, really.
No.
Just a blue layer.
Yeah.
It's fine. But there's another fight scene, and this time the crew take it to the bad guys.
They are out for blood?
Yeah.
And Peach impales someone with her crown.
Who?
Peach, you know, Toadstool.
Oh, very good. And yeah, no, she headbutts Triclyde, I want to say, which we thought was
Mouser.
Was it Mouser?
Yes.
Okay, but of course she's wearing a crown, so that is gonna leave a mark. Mario does jump kick. Toad does a jump kick. I'm sorry.
He does a drum
I was gonna try and cut that out, so don't reference it again.
No, I'm gonna keep referencing it, so you have no choice but to leave it in.
Thank you. But no, yeah, Mario and Toad do some, I think it's because I wanted to say drop kick and jump kick at the same time. But anyway, they do a couple of those. But Luigi, like Princess Toadstool, does a headbutt, but of course it looks like his green Luigi missile from the Smash Brothers games, which is hilarious. I wonder if Dr. Derp will mention that when we get his inevitable letter about this.
I'm sure he will, and I'm actually looking forward to this.
Yeah. So, they're taking it to the bad guys, and eventually they manage to kick Koopa into the machine and bust it.
Which immediately drains Victoria. There were only 14 casualties in the Great Flood of Victoria. All 14 were mushroom orphans. Please donate to the mushroom orphan cause.
Cut to Tails at the end of Sonic Adventure, standing over the ruined station square saying,
All's well that ends well, right?
Oh yeah, and one funny bit, we didn't really talk about it with Herlock Solms, but he manages to, Koopa is like, I bet you can't guess what my next Koopa caper is gonna be. And of course he immediately lists it out to every detail. And then later on, he completely dissects Koopa's character and backstory, much to the amusement of his goons.
Holds the world record of most failed kindergarten attempts.
Yeah. And wet the bed till he was 12. Sorry if you hear any bouncing. A cat just jumped on the chair that the microphone is mounted on. We didn't account for cats liking to jump on chairs. But yeah. So they untie Soames and... to get into the tower, Koopa used a potion, the red potion from Mario 2. Oh, now she's lying down on it. But instead of opening a red door to subspace or whatever, making it a warp zone, it literally just opens the gated door.
Yeah.
And the only reason that's worth mentioning is because he does it again at the end, after, for the first time in what feels like a year, saying, "He who coops and runs away lives to coop another day."
Wasn't that from, episode 1?
Yeah, but I'm sure it happened at least once in between. But he throws a potion against the wall, and it creates this weird cheese tunnel, which he jumps into without Mouser, Triclyde, or the Koopa Troopa. Who knows how they'll get back to wherever he's going.
They'll catch a cab.
And they explicitly say he used a warp zone, which is fair enough, but they forgot that thing... This time I did it. That thing is supposed to just open a red door that he runs through. Like in the opening of the cartoon.
Yeah, well, animation costs money. And if there's one thing this show doesn't have anymore, it's money.
Yeah, but it would have been cheaper to just throw a red door on the front than have there was a fairly complicated sequence of the cheese tunnel puckering as it opened up.
Yeah, well, puckering costs money, and this show has abundance of money that it has to burn through.
That must be it. This show is well known for its extravagance. Yeah. So they get back to Bonkers Street, and they talk about how Koopa got away. They never bring up the idea of him helping them save her people, because that's always just a bluff to get the Marios where they gotta go. And meanwhile, Sherlock Mario, is still looking around with the magnifier for something to eat, because it's Mario. And he sticks his hand in what he thinks is a lunchbox, but is obviously a cage. And it was, what was it? This little cat comes out biting his finger. It was the kitty cat of the Catskervilles or something like that.
Something like
that.
It's
a Hound of the Baskervilles bit, which is fair enough. But let me see if I have it handy here, because I want to get it right. Wow, 88 paragraphs later. The Killer Kitty of the Caskervilles. And so Mario's closing line is, "This is the first time my lunch ever tried to take a bite out of me." Everybody laughs at this hell of his own making, as they so often do.
Speaking of hell of their own making, hey John, we're in a hell of our own making.
How so?
Well, this episode was good, but the last episode...
I was afraid you were going to tell me the episode wasn't recording. In which case, why would you say it like that? Okay, yeah. No, this episode, the cartoon was a lot better. The animation was good.
Yeah.
Like, not good, but solid, consistent.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah. I didn't notice any errors. I'm sure there were.
Yeah.
The usual, but I mean, the art direction was strong.
The art direction was strong. The only complaint I have is the grunting.
Yeah. I did enjoy it. And the cover song we'll do now. And the replacement music was not a downgrade.
It was actually an upgrade.
I wouldn't go that far, but it wasn't a downgrade for me.
I think that it was a better fit compared to what they used on the original cover was.
It's true. Okay, so the cover is Henry Mancini's Peter Gunn theme from the TV show the same name. Also famous for being used in the Spy Hunter video games. And we'll layer in a bit of the cover right here. Special thanks, as always, to the Super Mario Bros. Super HQ channel on YouTube. Link in the description below.
The search is on!
That was a good cover.
It was. And it was very well done. And the animation was timed to it pretty well. But the music from Mario 3 that they put in its place was also pretty good, following people around while they follow a trail of footprints music.
Yes. And
Because that's one thing we forgot to mention, is that they track Koopa to his secret lair under a manhole cover by following his Koopa foot tracks, and that's where the cover song is.
yes. Just like they followed Koopa to the Kingdom of Youth by following the foot tracks.
Yeah, the music that they put in was just as good, I would say. The Peter Gunn cover was a good cover, but it fits less because it's a Sherlock Holmes thing instead of like a detective. Well, I think the original show was like a cop show or a PI show.
Yeah.
So if he had been like doing a Sam Spade thing, or even Dick Tracy, the Peter Gunn theme would have fit better.
Dick Mario.
At least buy him dinner first. So the cover song was all right. The writer of the episode, which we'll get into now, which we don't really have to, because it's another returning writer. Perry Martin, who he's got a few more episodes coming, but he wrote a previous episode, King Mario of Cramlot, episode 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Which was pretty good. And
I think this one was about the same caliber.
I would say it's a... Yeah, you know what? That's about right, actually.
I'm going through and it's like, you know what? I really enjoyed that episode and I really enjoyed this episode. I think putting them side by side, both of them are definitely parody episodes.
Yeah, we're deep into that.
But it isn't it isn't a direct movie parody. It isn't a bad parody.
Yeah, and it's just kind of the very loose idea that there is a Sherlock Holmes in this universe.
Sherlock Holmes.
Excuse me.
It is currently 12:13.
Yeah, there is a Sherlock Holmes in this universe, but the Mario crew have to save him.
Yeah.
Because he's not supposed to go up against King Koopa.
And once you save someone who's supposed to help you, you don't need their help anymore because they're kind of useless.
Yeah, I think that's just it. They realize these guys aren't all like cracked up to be.
Like Hercules, Sherlock Holmes.
Or even Mervyn the Magician from Cramelot.
Yeah.
This guy's previous episode. We'll have to keep an eye on if his episodes really fall into that genre parody, character spoof stuff. So we'll get into the cast real quick, because for the first time in like 10 episodes, we have a newcomer.
Oh!
And elevated from the voice pool. So,
Is it Richard Dean Anderson?
No, it ain't.
Oh.
We got Lou Albano as Mario, Danny Wells as Luigi, Jeannie Elias as Princess Toadstool, John Stalker as Toad, Mouser, and the Koopa Troopa, all business as usual, Harvey Atkin as King Koopa and Triclyde, and Greg Swanson as Herlock Solms.
Who's Greg Swanson?
He's done a lot of additional voices from about the mid-70s to the mid-90s, which we'll touch on. I wrote a few notes here. He voiced one of the Ewoks in Ewoks, Weechi. But that's all I got. I never watched those. He was the coach in The New Archies, which we've mentioned before. That's the 80s Archie cartoon where they were preteens. Or not preteens, but they were in middle school instead of high school, to use that distinction.
Yeah.
And Dilton was replaced by another kid.
Moose?
No. Like, Moose was still there, but Dilton was replaced with a pair of siblings, I think. A smart one and another one. If they had two smart ones, then you really wouldn't need Dilton, which they still didn't. And additional voices on shows like Alf, Babar, Alf Tales.
Babar Tales?
Babar Tales, yeah. Babar, back in the woods.
Babar, The New Beginnings.
Yeah.
Babar, A New Hope. The Revenge of Babar.
Oh, I like that one.
Babar.
He finally decides that, yes, we will use guns. We keep fighting to keep those humans out. All right. And his final voice acting role was actually in an episode of Ned's Newt.
Oh.
A cartoon that Canadians of our age do have a fondness for, because it's along that launch lineup of the first couple years of Teletoon. It ran from like 97 to 99. I think it did air in the States, but like most Canadian cartoons, it didn't air nearly as often or as well as it did up here.
So for those who haven't heard it, I think we'll drop a little bit of a sample of the theme, because I remember it being either weird or good, or both.
Or both. Why not? I do tend to do that. This show is an excuse for me to play theme songs I like. And no one can stop me.
Except me when I edit the show instead of John, which...
Yeah, in that case, he stops me from even using the Zelda theme.
You
In
just
the
won't
Zelda
let
episode.
it go.
Not until episode 20 is out, which will be before anyone hears this. And since I'm editing it, I almost guarantee it'll work. Okay, alright, so. Ratings. For The Adventures of Sherlock Mario.
The name gets a 2 out of 10. However, I will say the episode, gets 6.5 missed clues out of 10.
They would have solved it a lot faster if they'd caught them.
Yeah.
6.5. Have you been writing down any of these lately?
No.
I haven't either, and I think that's probably for the best.
I figure that if we really need to go through, we can just skip to the place on the...
on the timestamps.
Yeah.
Good thinking. Plus, we're going to do that ranking thing now. We've decided anyway in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you say, 6.5?
Yeah.
That's about right. I'm going to... I didn't dig it as much. I would say a 6. 6 grunting Luigis out of a possible 10.
A possible 10 would be grunting toadstools, right?
No, I meant 10 grunting Luigis.
Yeah. But if it was a 10, it would be grunting toadstools.
Right.
Oh.
Poor Jeannie Elias. She doesn't deserve this.
No.
That armor look was a fit, though, actually. Yeah. The character designers in this show were having more fun with the costumes lately, I think. Like those pirate get-ups even in the Coop episode. It wasn't just an eye patch, you know, they were having fun with it. What were you going to say?
Except for that last episode where I'm pretty sure they just wanted to torture us for a couple of minutes.
Well, who wouldn't? Anyone who knows us knows we deserve it.
I blame time-traveling writers and designers for last episode, because they knew what was going to happen this year. Which is us reviewing it.
Alright, so that's the ratings. If you want to reach out to the show, you can leave a comment on the YouTube version.
You can reach us on TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky at Excuse Me Princess Super Show, all of those.
You can email us at excusemesupershow@gmail.com.
You can record a voice mail to send us at excusemesupershow.com, and we might add it into the show if we like it.
Yeah. Keep it somewhere between a minute and a half.
However, if you record an hour, I will not listen to it.
Yeah, we won't. Yeah. Okay, Aaron's dog is scratching himself but not enjoying it.
No.
Or he was yawning his way through. So, yeah, if you want to send us a voicemail, it's not like the old days where you could just use Spotify for podcasters /Anchor to do it. So, just record yourself on your phone if you don't have anything else. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we might play it on the show. And the added bonus is we won't pre-listen to it. Well, we might.
One of us will vet it, the other one will not.
That's a good way to do it. And we'll alternate who does it.
Yes.
Cool. All right. You ready for predictions?
You know what? No. But let's do it anyways.
Hold that thought. The live action segment is Mario Hillbillies.
They find gold in their septic tank.
Texas tea.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like it might be along those lines. The Beverly Hillbillies. Or...
The Beverly Hillbillies are going to be the guest star.
Oh, yeah, but only one of them. Like,
Jed.
No, I don't think they could afford Jed. I bet they could afford Granny.
Maybe.
Or... It's gonna be Cousin Billy Bob Mario and Jimmy John Luigi come to visit. And, well, I can't say they run out and put on overalls, but, something. Something like that, where it's the...
They lose teeth between seats.
Ooh. That happened to Daniel Craig once.
Oh.
And, yeah. So, okay, so your guess is Beverly Hillbillies. My guess is Hillbilly Marios that come to visit, possibly played by the usuals.
Yes.
Cool. And the cartoon. Do you, Princess Toadstool, take this Koopa?
It's a shotgun wedding.
Well, I got a feeling it'll be a nice day for a white wedding. Because we saw the first second of the next cover song when we were watching this one.
Yes.
So that'll be fun.
We didn't do lore filler.
Oh, now's a good time.
Lore filler or the trash that needs to be taken out?
Well, it's not that bad, but it's definitely filler. These episodes, unless they do something really special, are definitely filler.
And I would agree, because it's... Even though it was a good episode, and I enjoyed this episode, I feel as though it's also out of character for Mario to be as competent as he was.
That's true. The only thing he's usually good at is plumbing, eating, and fighting.
Yeah, and not...
Catching on obvious clues is not in his nature.
Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy looks like he might be Koopa. Oh, I should probably connect the dots and realize that these Koopa goons are working for Koopa. But no.
Yeah, these Roman soldiers look an awful lot like Koopa Troopas.
Yeah.
No, it's true. But they were promised spaghetti dinner. And yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, definitely filler in the way that these episodes are. The more self-contained parodies.
Yes.
And I mean, again, we're playing up the seriousness of our analysis for the fun of it. But yeah, this one you cut out, nothing changes. You know, the other ones we've had where it's like, it actually, you know, Toad Warriors is the best example of managing to graft the parody onto still addressing the central story.
Yes.
On top of just being still the best cartoon they've done so far for Mario.
What are you talking about? Two plumbers and a baby was peak entertainment.
From DiC Entertainment. Da 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 da. Peak.
Oh, but no. Definitely filler, and Toad Warrior definitely top tier.
I would agree with both of those statements. If you want to find out how many of our statements you'll agree with next time, tune in next time. Because until next time...
I'm John. Wait, I'm Aaron.
I'm John. And until next time, everybody...
Do the Mario!
If there is a next time.